Easy English podcast. Let's start, guys.
Imagine this. You're sitting in a waiting room. The chairs are hard. The air smells like paper and hand sanitizer. Your name is called. You walk in. A person in a uniform looks at you across a desk. And they ask you, in English, what is the purpose of your visit? And suddenly, your mind goes blank. Like someone turned off all the lights inside your head. Every English word you've ever learned just disappears. If you've ever felt that way, at a visa interview, at a border, at an immigration counter, this episode is for you. We're going to sit with that feeling today. And then we're going to help you get ready. Gently. Together.
Hey. Welcome back to Practice Easy English. I'm Leo.
And I'm Sarah.
And if you're new here, hi. Come in, sit down. We're so glad you found us.
Think of this podcast like a cozy little cafe. We pull up chairs, we talk about real life in English, and hopefully you leave feeling a little more ready for the world.
Exactly. No textbooks here, no grammar drills, just real conversation. Warm, simple, honest. And today's topic is one that so many of our listeners have written to us about. Visa interviews.
The visa interview.
Just saying those two words makes some people sweat, right?
It really does. It's like your heart becomes a drum and your brain becomes fog. Perfect description, Sarah. Perfect. So here's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about what a visa interview actually feels like. The emotions, the pressure, the weird silence when you don't know what to say. And then we're going to walk through real, useful English phrases. The kind you can actually use, not robotic answers from a textbook. Real human sentences. The kind that sound natural when you're nervous and your mouth is dry and you just want to get through it. Yes. And at the end, we have our word tour section, where we look at some of the most useful words and phrases from today's episode. It's one of my favorite parts. Mine too.
Okay, let's start from the beginning. Because I think a lot of people don't realize the visa interview is not just about the questions. It's about the feeling.
You're right. And I think the number one problem people have is not their English level. It's their confidence.
Oh, absolutely. I've spoken to people who are B2 level, strong speakers, and they freeze in a visa interview because the stakes feel so high.
It's like carrying a heavy backpack of emotions into that room. You've got fear, you've got hope, you've got months of planning inside that little appointment. And suddenly, a stranger is asking you questions, and you have to answer clearly, calmly, in English.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
I remember a friend of mine, her name is Mina. She was applying for a student visa to go study in the UK. She had prepared everything. All her documents, her university letter, her bank statement, everything was perfect. But when the officer asked her, "What will you study?" she said her mind felt like a crowded room. Too many thoughts, too much noise, and she just couldn't find the words she needed. That image, a crowded room. I think so many people feel that. When anxiety fills your mind, there's no space to think. Exactly. And the worst part? She knew the answer. She knew exactly what she was going to study. But in that moment, it just felt impossible.
So what happened?
She paused, she took a breath, and she said very simply, "I'm sorry. Could you please repeat the question?"
And that changed everything.
It gave her 5 extra seconds. And in those 5 seconds, her thoughts stopped spiraling, and she remembered her answer.
I love that story because it teaches us something so important. You are allowed to ask someone to repeat a question in an interview, in a conversation, anywhere. It is not a weakness. It is a skill.
Yes. And by the way, could you please repeat that? That's a phrase we're putting in today's word tour.
Spoiler alert!
Oops. Worth it.
Let's talk about the questions themselves, because I think if you know what's coming, you feel a little more prepared. And feeling prepared is like turning on a small light in a dark room.
Okay, I love that. So, what are the most common questions in a visa interview?
The first one, and this is almost universal, is what is the purpose of your visit?
Simple, direct, and yet terrifying.
For some people, yes. So how do you answer this?
You want to be clear and specific. Not too long, not too short. Something like, I am visiting for tourism. I plan to explore the city and visit some museums. Or, I am traveling for a business conference. I will be attending meetings and returning home after 5 days.
Notice, short sentences, clear reason, clear timeline. The officer doesn't need your whole life story. They need why, what, and how long.
Why, what, how long? I'm going to remember that.
Write it down, everyone. Why, what, how long?
What about the money question? I always found that one stressful.
Oh, yes. How will you support yourself financially during your stay?
Because it feels personal, right? Like someone is asking if you can actually afford this.
It can feel that way. But remember, the officer is just doing their job. They need to make sure you have a plan. So a good answer sounds like this. I have savings in my bank account that I will use for this trip. I also have a letter from my employer confirming my salary. Or, more simply, I have enough money for my trip. I have bank statements that show this.
Short, clear, confident, and you offer the documents as proof.
Exactly. You're not arguing, you're not over-explaining, you're just calm and clear, like still water.
I like that. Calm and clear like still water.
Exactly. What about at the end of the interview? Is there anything you should say? Yes, this is something people forget. You can close the interview warmly. Something like, "Thank you for your time." Or, "I appreciate your help today." It sounds small, but it leaves a good impression. It does. You walk in nervous, you walk out gracefully. That's the goal,